Is this Yazayin Amud Beis? Do you have the right dot? Yeah, Yazayin Amud Beis. Yazayin Amud Beis is about how much is that? About 15 lines? Tan Rabbanan.
Yeah, Tan Rabbanan.
Eved. Okay, Tan Rabbanan. So it's spoken about the Mishnah about Misa Sa'adon, and we spoke about by Nirsa says Misa Sa'adon frees him, and also we said Amar Via, also Misa Sa'adon. By Eved Ivri, it doesn't say that Misa Sa'adon frees him. And here the Gemara is going to talk about what happens when the master dies. Tan Rabbanan. Eved Ivri over the Saben, Vein over the Sabas. Eved Ivri, that the master died before his 6 years was up, before Yovel was up. By 6 years of Yovel, he goes free. But the master died before. So if there's a son, so he continues serving the son until the end of his term, until 6 years of Yovel. But in Over the Sabas, if there's no son, and there's only a daughter, and the daughter does Yashin, but as far as this, she doesn't Yashin. She's not going to, the Eved is not going to be serving the daughter. And the Gemara is going to say soon, not only the daughter, a brother also. If only the son, it's only a din and the son, nobody else. The Yorshim, if it's going to be a daughter or a brother or any other relative, there's no Yerusha on the Eved Ivri. Amar Vriya, Ein Obed is lost ben lost Abbas. Amar Vriya, before her term was up, before she became a Gedola, and Adon died, so she does get released. She gets free, and she doesn't serve anybody, not the son, not the daughter, nobody. And that's what the Mishnah didn't say. So the Mishnah said by a nirtza, but the next case, a nirtza. The Gemara did learn before the fact that it says that Yisrael Allah Amar Avriya, that Amar Avriya is more than a man, so she has the same thing that a nirtza has also. So the Mishnah doesn't say beferish that the woman goes out by Misa Sa'adon, but it is true. And that's what it says over here. Amar Avriya, if her master dies, she doesn't continue.
Goes back to her father's home.
Yes. Yes. And on Irtza, which the Mishnah did say Misa Sa'adon frees him, that's what it says here also, that Ein Ovad Lo Saben V'Lo Sabas, it throws in another halacha, Anim Kal Goy. It says in the Torah a whole parsha about the Jewish who was sold as an Eved to a Goy, and it says he's supposed to try to redeem him, and he's not supposed to remain an Eved by a Goy, but there are halachas of a Jew being sold as a slave to a Goy, and he has the obligation, you could redeem him, but even if Yadenu Tkifa, even if we have powers, we're not going to say that it's not a sale. It is a sale. And now it says when the Goy dies, so he goes free, and even though there is a Yerusha of a Goy, we're going to be a sugya today that a Goy does Yashin his father. There's Dina Yerusha, means Torah law does give the inheritance of a Goy to a son the Goy. But the they bought that belonged to the father. Of course, this is talking about when Am Yisrael Yadenu Tkifa, when Tachas Yadenu, I guess they don't listen to us. If they're going to capture a Jew and then he's going to give him over to his son when he dies, and the Jews can't do anything, so there's nothing to talk about. We're talking about when the Jews are authoritative and they give the law. So as long as he is under the Goy, he bought him, so then the Torah says that he's an Eved, buy yourself out, if not, not. But once the Goy dies, so then there's no Yerusha to the next generation of Goyim. That's the end of the Brisa. Just to point out, there are three things over here. Maybe we'll try to hide it. But Eved Ivri. Then it talks about Amar Vriya. Then it talks about a Nirtza. And also Anim Kol Goy. It goes together. The first category, he only serves the son, not the daughter. The second two, it has all three of them, Amar Vriya, Nirtza, Anim Kol Goy, all of them, they don't serve the son or the daughter. And now the Gemara is going to explain everything. How do you know all these things? So the Gemara starts, Amar. Every day, over the Abbas. There was the Gemara before did mention something about there's no Misa Sa'adon, but it says there's but Misa Sa'adon doesn't go free, but he doesn't serve the Yorush. This is going to become clarified in this Gemara. And it brings up Brisa to tell you these halachas that every Ivri does serve the son. If the master died within the 6 years, within the before Yovel, he does serve the son, but he doesn't serve the daughter. Or the brother, just the brother. How do you know? Tana Rabbanan. It says he should serve you. And that Dalet, the Dalet says he should serve you. So then we learn out only you, but not anybody else. L'cha, v'lo l'yorish. that would tell us that he only serves the master and he doesn't serve anybody else. So if the master dies, he doesn't go on to the Yoresh. On the other hand, the Yoresh is going to mean the Yoresh besides the son. It means usually Yoresh includes the son and not about anybody else also. If there's no sons, it goes to the daughter. If no daughters, then it goes to the father, whatever, the next upper generation, to the brothers. Here, when it says Yoresh, it means Yoresh besides the Ben. So he says he doesn't serve any of the other Yoreshim. If it be a daughter or a brother, he doesn't serve them. But the Bryce is saying, I don't mean to say that he doesn't serve the son. He will serve the son. If the Eved Ivri's master died, he does serve the son till the end of his term. Maybe not. Maybe say only you, not even the son. What is the correct way to darshan? Is it like I just said that he doesn't serve the other Yorshim, but maybe the truth is that he doesn't even serve the son? How do you know how to darshan? Maybe avotcha, that it only serves the master and not anybody else. Maybe not even the son. So it's going to bring another pasuk. Here it doesn't say yavotcha. It doesn't say he should serve you. There's another pasuk in Re'eh, I think. He should serve for 6 years, and it says it like absolute. It doesn't say dafka to the master. So this is mashma that he does continue serving even after the master dies. That's the difference between the two psukim. Maybe we'll try to get the psukim here. It says one pasuk says va'avatcha. That was the one, and here it says yavod. So the yavotcha came to exclude that he does not serve somebody else besides the master. But the word yavod sounds like he does serve somebody besides the master. Arei leben or more. So this pasuk is telling us that he does serve the son. So when the pasuk says before avotcha, that's coming to exclude amani mekayim va'avotcha sheishanim v'chavlo liyorish. So since one pasuk says he only serves you, the other pasuk says he serves not only you. So in order to reconcile the psukim, so the Gemara says the truth is going to be that he does not serve anybody besides the son. Yavod, that he serves not even the master, is coming to say the son also. But Bavatcha is coming to exclude the daughter or the brother. And now the Gemara wants to know who told you. Who says which one? Maybe the brother and not the son. How do you know which one is stronger to continue the masterhood of this Eved Ivri? Mara is. How do you know? What do you see? What told you to say this one yes and this one not? Mara is the Rabbi says who told you to include the son and exclude the brother? Maybe do the opposite. And the Gemara is going to say as far as for each one. First, the Gemara says no. The son is for sure stronger. She can come tachas out of the ya'ada or the ste'achuza. We find two places where the son is stronger than the brother. Yiyud means the Torah says by Avrohom that the father, the one who brought her, has the option of marrying her, and also it says it says that it's also an option to marry her to the son. There's no thing is by a brother. He can marry her his Avrohom to his brother. So you see that a son is stronger than a brother, and also ste'achuza. Ste'achuza, we're going to see soon that it's not mamash beferish, but ste'achuza means when somebody sells his nachla. Ste'achuza in contrast to a stei mikna. Stei mikna means a field that you bought. This ste'achuza means that you got it from an inheritance. That's from this nachla from his fathers. Back to Moshe Rabbeinu, Yeshua, when they came into Israel. So this is his nachla. If someone sells his nachla, so he has the opportunity to buy it back. But if he doesn't buy it back until the Yovel, if it was sold and it wasn't sold to an outsider, what does the Gizber do with it? The Gizber got a field. The treasurer of Hektish, what does he do with it? So he auctions it. If the person himself doesn't redeem it and he sold it to an outsider, so when it comes Yovel, it goes to the Kohanim. The original owner will have the opportunity to be golden until Yovel, but if he was not golden, then it was sold to somebody else. So then Yovel goes to the Kohanim. So what if the one who was Makdashit was not Goel, but a son did? So the son is considered like the father, and also then it doesn't go out of Yovel, it doesn't go to the Kohanim by Yovel. But a brother who redeems it is like a stranger. So the Gemara brings two cases that you see that a son is stronger than a brother. One is as far as Yiyud, that if there's a number of Riyah, the son has the option of marrying her, but not the brother of the one of the buyer. And also Ste'achuza, if the son redeemed the father, the field that the father was makdash of the Ste'achuza, it doesn't go out in Yovel to the Kohanim. But if it was a brother, it's like a stranger, and it would go out in Yovel. So you see two cases where a son is stronger than a brother. So here that says.
I understand the question. It says always if there's a son, the brother never inherits.
I'm sorry, I don't hear. 1 second, it's not loud enough.
If there's a son,
Yes,
the brother never. If there's a son, the brother never inherits. I don't understand the kasha.
No, we're not. We're not talking about that. There's a son and a brother. You're right, 100%. We're talking about that. There's no son. There's no son, and now the question is going to be if the brother will inherit his brother. He's inheriting everything else. He's inheriting his house.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
inheriting his field. Is he going to inherit Eved Ivri? And then it says no. That the pasuk says one yes and one not, and that's
I'm
the case
saying
over
there's
here.
yeah. Okay. If there's only one, though, you think the son comes before the brother. If that's the
Again,
choice.
please, I'm sorry.
If there's only
There's
if
no.
there's only one
There's
person
only
to
a
inherit,
brother.
it makes sense the son would come before. The one would be the son, not the brother, because the son's always
Why
stronger.
should the son be before? He's as far as what? In what way do you see that he's stronger? And the fact
Because
that Yerusha he goes first,
yeah,
even though in this particular case he's not. He's it's not a case of a son over here, right? It's not a case of a son against the brother. But you're saying since we see a son goes before Yerusha, so that should be a svara that he should be. If there's a choice, who's gonna be the one who's going to inherit the Eved Ivri? Is it going to be only the son, or only the brother?
Yeah.
So Taisa asked this kasha over here. I think from Toma, Amar lo kama nachla the ben kodem laach. I think that's kasha. יש לו מזלוכה שבא להנד blessed באח כלל, ויסנו בבן, אבל אחלה, דאיסא נמי באח, במקום שאין בן ובס, since the brother is in the parsha, even though the son is also, but the brother also has the issue of Yerusha. So the Gemara doesn't see that as that the son is stronger, even though he has precedence. If he's there, then the brother's not going to yarshin. So I think Taisa asked the kasha. I'm not sure if the answer suffices, but I think Taisa is referred to that. So again, the Gemara is talking about there's two psukim. As far as an Eved Ivri, when the master dies, does it go on to the next generation? One pasuk says yes, one pasuk says no. And in order to reconcile that, the Gemara says that the son will continue owning the Eved Ivri until the end of the Torah, but the brother will not. And the Gemara wants to know why did you pick that? Maybe pick the brother. And the Gemara so far said the reason why the son is more than the brother, because as far as Yud, you see that he has more koach. The brother doesn't have the right to do Yud, and also the son has the right to redeem the. His father was marked, it's not going to go out to the Kohen, but the brother, because other I'll show you cases that the brother is stronger than the son. Other Rabbi, Marbani Yasach, came come Tachasad of the Yibam, that by Yibam was only by brother. I mean, the son doesn't do any Yibam. So that doesn't make any sense. Of course, the son doesn't do Yibam if there's a son, so then there's no Yibam. But they want to say, you see, there's something that the brother has, that's the one answers. It's not true that the brother has something over the son. The brother only comes into the picture when there's no son, but a son is stronger than their brother. As you see, by Yiyud and Steachusa. The Gemara wants to know that the kasha wasn't even a kasha. At this point, when the Gemara said Adar Rabba, the Gemara is asking Adar Rabba doesn't make sense. What did the Adar Rabba say? That the son is stronger because of Yiyud and Steachusa. No, maybe the brother is stronger because of Yibam. Even without the Gemara's answer is a good answer, that the brother is not stronger than the son by Yibam. But the Gemara wants to know the kasha wasn't a kasha in the first place, because it's 2 against 1. The only reason why you're satisfied is because the answer is that by Yibam you don't see that the brother is stronger. If not that, you'd have a kasha. Typically, even without that answer, there's no kasha in the first place, because the son is stronger than the brother in 2 aspects, Yiyud and Steachusa, and the brother, if anything, even if it will be true that he's stronger in Yibam, was only 1. So still we should say that the son is stronger. Why did the Gemara think that the brother is stronger? The Gemara says, means this given, Steachuza wasn't really a given. Yiyud is true. Yiyud is a fresh pasuk of no yid. Then there's only a din of Yiyud to the son. There's no din of Yiyud to the brother. But Steachuza, it's not simple at all. Rashi brings the drasha that the Gemara doesn't know that. The din that who's the one who redeems the father's hektish that doesn't go out in yoga. So the fact is, the Gemara says Steachuza, but the only reason the Gemara knows the fact is only because that is Yiyud. There's only Yiyud, and here's the Gemara Yiyud and Eved Ivri, which is our subject. So it's really only Yiyud against nothing. And you're right. And one of the kasha, so it's 1 against 1, means you have to take out the word Steachuza. You don't have to take it out literally, but really when the Gemara says Steachuza, it's not a given. This thing is not, this word Steachuza, let me just erase what I did by mistake. This word out of I didn't mean to. But this word Steachuza is not at all simple. That the Gemara thought this Steachuza is not so simple. The Gemara first made it sound like it's a given. That Steachuza, the son, is the one who's considered like the father and not the brother. But the Gemara at the end says that you don't know that. The only reason you know is because of our drush over here, that the son is more than the brother as far as the youth goes. Then the more had a fair question, but you find that the brother is more than the son as far as Yibam goes. So it's 1 against 1. And the Gemara says no, but Yibam also, the Yibam, of course, the son is more than the brother. There wouldn't be a question of Yibam if there'd be a son. So it's one against nothing. So to sum up the Gemara, we finished till the end. Yeah, we finished till the 2 dots. And the question was, why is the son stronger than the brother? We have one pasuk says only the master, and after he dies, it does not continue. Another pasuk says that it does continue. So we have 2 choices, the son or the brother, and we decided that it's the son. And how do you know that? Because you find that the son is stronger as far as youth goes, and you don't find that the brother is stronger than the son in any way. That's the answer to the Gemara's Maskana. And from here you learn out also that by Steachuza, also the son is going to be in place of his father, not the brother. So that's
Only
all.
Yerusha goes in this sense, and nothing to do with the brother.
A brother also could Yashin sometimes.
Only
Taisa
when
points
there's no
out.
son.
Yes, that's true. But Taisa says that it's considered equal as far as they have a koach of Yerusha. They do and have a connection to the father, to the brother. There's a koach of Yerusha. The one wants to find something that one of them has, the other one doesn't have at all. That over here was saying that Eved Ivri, he goes to the son. If there's a son, he doesn't go to the brother. Even if there's no son and there's a brother, he doesn't get to Yerusha. The Gemara wanted to know, how do you know that it's stronger? The Gemara says because you see by Yud, the son has what the brother does not have. And that's the Maskana. And Eved Ivri, if his master dies before 6 years are up, he would serve the son until the end of his term. If there's a son, if there's no son, he doesn't serve any of the other Yorshim, a daughter or brother. He doesn't
What
serve
happens with
anybody
his
else.
gifts? He doesn't get the mana if he goes that early? That's a side question.
He's not going out over here. I mean, he's not going out. Here the case is there's a son, so he doesn't go out. He continues serving the son. At the end of serving the son, he'll get the manat.
I like it. But how's the son going to know what's given? It's not in that. The kid. You see
Go to
what
rabbi. Because the kids here, there's no trouble.
Amavriya. Next verse spoke about was Amavriya, about the master dies, so it says she goes free. The master Misa Sa'adam, we had to give about Misa Sa'ad, that we said not, but Misa Sa'adam, when the master dies, then she goes free, and even if there's a son, she doesn't serve the son. And that was not the Mishnah B'Fei, but we said it's also anything more than a man, right? There's just going to be like that. If the master dies, she doesn't serve anybody, not even the son. Mili, where's the pasuk for that? So it's very strange, not very strange, but like the pasuk is not simple. The pasuk shot. Let's see if you have it over here. Yeah, here it is. In Devarim 15, pasuk 17. This is in Parashas Re'eh, and it says if the Ebed wants to stay longer, so you pierce his ear, and he's a Eved forever, which means till Yobel. Another pasuk says not forever mamish, but till Yobel. And the pasuk says v'afla mascha tasakain. So if you read the pasuk, if the Gemara says beferish that to Amma also there's such a din of Ritzia. If she wants to remain or longer, he also pierce her ear. But the Gemara says no, it's not true. That this afla mascha tasakain is not referring back to the pasuk here. It's referring back to the pasuk before, and we'll see that right now what the Gemara is not about it. But right now the Gemara says that it does seem to say that it's comparable to a nirtza. The beginning of the pasuk is a nirtza. And he wants to stay longer, so he gets his ear pierced and he stays longer, forever. So too Amavriya. And the Gemara is going to say there's a drash. It's not the Pashup Shot. The Pashup Shot would be that Shimamish also stays forever. But the Gemara is going to say a different point. There's some kind of comparison of Amavriya to the Eved who was Nirtza. And what's going to be the comparison? Not that you are Rotseya, the woman. Just as far as what we just finished saying, we just finished learning out, and it's supposed to be before that. Oh no, we didn't learn it yet. That's going to be next tomorrow. That a nirtza he goes free if his master dies. We didn't see that yet, but we're going to learn it soon. Once you have that halacha, that's a given that the nirtza goes free when the master dies. So now the pasuk says that Amar Bria is similar. Is mamish far from the Pashup Shot. The Pashup Shot doesn't say anything about the master dying. But we're saying there's some comparison. What comparison? So we're going to figure it out. The comparison is going to be that if the master dies, she goes free. Just like the nirtza. When if the master died before he was nirtza, before the 6 years before the Yobel, so then he does not go free. He's going to work for the son. But if he was nirtza and then the master dies, he does go free. He's not going to be, the fact that he's everlasting Eved is only as long as the master is alive. Once the master dies, he goes free. And now the pasuk says that a shifcha is similar. That's the Gemara's drasha. The Gemara asks that this drasha of Afla Moschatas Kain is learned to something else. No, the Gemara is not going to say that it means that she actually gets pierced, but there's a different drasha. As the drasha coming to tell you this halacha that she doesn't work for the sun. It's necessary for the following brisa. It says the ha'anik that Rosh is telling you that she gets hanaka. The pasuk over there in Ray first talks about hanaka, then it talks about if he wants to stay longer, he gets near tzah, and then it says, and then the pasuk So the Gemara is saying that read it back to the beginning that Allah has to tell you that she's similar, that she also gets hanaka.
As opposed to learning.
Don't learn now. We'll see. Let's see one more line. We'll see what the Gemara is talking about and what the Brisa is talking about. So that's the truth. Amar Bria gets hanaka also. And Allah's out of this pasuk. It's not the simple reading. If you read the pasuk, you wouldn't see it. But maybe the pasuk pshat. Read the pasuk pshat that the woman also gets pierced if she wants to stay longer. No, that you can't say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hello. Ken, shalom. Ken, not Grega. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ken. Yes.
He does a good job. Okay. That's it. I'm not gonna move it. Huge letters. He's trying to figure out how to make it bigger. But some we learn in the afternoon, right? Yeah, last year we learned the Shabbos.
What time? What is it, 5?
No, it'll be in the afternoons, I guess. Last year we did.
Okay, there's no.
Maybe it could be later.
No.
There's no
The
Shabbos.
second day. The first day the Shabbos. Oh, you do Shabbos early.
Oh,
You
there
do
is
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
You do Shabbos early. Probably what people do is you make kiddush in the morning,
We're
washing.
We wash.
and then afterwards at 1 o'clock you'll have or 2 o'clock you'll have the yom tov meal. So you don't really need a Shabbos after the end of the day. Yeah, the Shabbos will be at 2 o'clock Shabbos.
Yeah, I see.
So we can make it later.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, we're gonna eat our main meal when we
Two.
get home. No, at 10:30.
And then another one like at 2
I
o'clock.
didn't think about it. I guess then later in the day. Let's have lunch. Huh? Brisket.
Whoa. Okay, we're coming over. Okay, tell your wife
I'm
you gotta.
making the brisket. Why are we? The big question is why are we fleshing? Because my wife wants to use our wedding china. That's fleshing.
Why?
We never use it anymore. So. It's not because she wants to eat meat, it's because she wants to use her.
No, but it's better to have meat on Rosh Hashanah.
And you don't want to
Rosh
have
Hashanah
it,
is supposed to have
and
meat.
you don't want to
Yeah.
have it with milk.
Huh?
You don't want to have it with milk.
No, but also the real reason is Rosh Hashanah the Yom Tov is supposed to have meat and wine. You're not supposed to get drunk. You're supposed to have meat and wine on Rosh Hashanah.
Well, so like my friend, a vegetarian, I don't consider myself a vegetarian. But he says when you have carbonos, he'll eat meat. So until then, he doesn't have the meat.
Okay, it's better like condemned.
Okay, sorry. I have to make these interruptions.
So it also decides inflation.
Okay, first one line, the Gemara is talking about the pasuk Afla Moschatas Kain, which the Pasuk reading sounds like this. You do Ritzia, she wants to stay longer, so you pierce her ear, and she stays Eved Olam. So the Gemara, the Brisa says that's not the pshat. Kishu Omer, Vimomo Yomar Ebed. That's the first Mishpata when it says that if he wants to stay longer and he says, I have to yes Adonias, Shtiv Espanai, like my master, I want to stay. So over there it says Ebed, Imomo Yomar Ebed. And that's the extra word maybe to teach you that only an Ebed, but Amar Ria. So there's no such thing. There's no such thing as piercing the woman's ear, Amar Ria, to stay longer.
Was this all part of the Bryce?
There's all the price,
Oh, I
right?
didn't notice it.
It's
Okay.
not Tanya, right? It goes
Yeah,
further.
yeah.
So Harevitzia Amor. So it says that, right?
I just thought of something, because the Amma is going to be married after 12 years old, so 12 and a half years old. How's she going to be tied up with the Baal or for the next?
I'm not following the.
She's the ownership of whoever marries her. At this
She's
point,
the
not
ownership
married.
of. If she's a Amor Ria, so then
So how
she's
can
Amor. She
How
makes
can
herself.
she be served till the next year? It could be 40 years.
So
She's
she
gonna
gets
get
married. She get married also. What's the problem? Why can't she get married?
She's not going to be a slave to a slave and a husband.
Why not? Why
No,
not?
women
Why
are
not?
very cool.
And then you could have a
I
wife.
mean, I understood that when a man marries a woman, he acquires her all of.
We said so many times that it's not
Not that he
true.
acquires her.
We said so many times that it's
Can
not
she-
true.
I understand that.
No, but it's like not mamish not true. It's not the husband
She can
doesn't
go
own his
out
wife.
and be a slave. While she married.
She's not married at this point. This case, they was talking about that.
She's
She's
getting married to a young man. She's a slave to the husband.
so he knows that he's marrying a woman who has a certain shibbudim for work. But anyway, it's not relevant because the halacha is that she's not. They would see more that the pasuk. So we have a pasuk now that we learn out that there's no such thing as Ritzia. So we go back to the pasuk again. Raf
This is
Lamos
Amar
Chatas again.
Yomar.
Ritzia
Im Amar
Amor.
Yomar Ha'evet is part of the pasuk.
That's a pasuk,
That's a pasuk.
and
where-
therefore you
the
see
drasha is below
Lo
Amar
Amor
Ria.
Ria.
Mhm.
So there's no such thing as piercing a woman's ear.
And that's
For-
the end
for-
of Bryce.
No, the Brisa continues. Hooray Ritzia more. So the pasuk says already what the din of Ritzia is, that there's no such thing as Ritzia. So what do you do with this pasuk? This pasuk says Afla Moscha Tasa Kain, which seems to say that there's some comparison of a woman, the Amar Ria, to a Nirtza. Amani Mekayim Afla Moscha Tasa Kain. What do you do with this pasuk that says that Shifcha, the Amar Ria, is similar to a Nirtza? Laha'anik, as far as Hanukkah. So the woman, when she leaves, for whatever reason that she's allowed to leave, she's going to get Hanukkah. This
Why
ended
in
up-
one sentence you bring a completely different concept if he's explaining the agree? I mean, everybody agree and then agree. Why would you not be talking about the same subject?
I'm not sure what you're asking on.
Well,
This Bryson was on one subject trying to
no,
figure
in
out.
the pasuk, how's the
In the pasuk shot, the pasuk shot is Ritzia, and they were saying that we have a hechreach, we're forced to say that it can't mean the pasuk shot because another pasuk says no such thing according to the drash. So we're going to dash over here that this pasuk is also saying a drash, a comparison in some way. In what way? To the pasuk before, or to the near side has this aspect of Hanukkah that you do give Hanukkah, you do give Hanukkah to a number of Bria.
It's not the subject, right, in this statement.
This Bryce is trying to figure out what a pasuk means after Moshe Tasakain, and the answer is Hanukkah. That's the answer. It wasn't something. It was the more thought maybe something else, and that's not true. So it must be coming to tell you Hanukkah. So the Gemara is back to the kasha. That's the end of the Bryce now. The word Lahanik is the end of the. And now the Gemara, just to go back, what was the Gemara's kasha? That you learned out after Moshe Tasakain that she doesn't go on to the next generation. She doesn't get inherited by the son. That's what the Gemara said before. It said that the Gemara said not immediately, about 5 lines. The Gemara said after Moshe Tasakain that she's compared to a Nirtza, that a Nirtza doesn't work for the next generation.
Why does
So
it say
to-
the word tasa? That's her question?
You're already ahead of me.
Okay.
We're holding in the kasha. I'm just explaining the kasha. The Gemara said before that from this pasuk you learn out that she does not work for the son, and the kasha is you use this pasuk already to tell you that she gets Hanukkah. The answer is here goes the answer. In Cain, it says should have said Afla Moscha Cain. Why does it has extra word? My tasa. It says Afla Moscha Tasa Cain. That's extra word. So Shami we know Tati, so we can learn 2 drushes. So since there's extra word in this whole this comparison, she's compared to a near. So 2 aspects. One is going to be that she doesn't work for the next generation, and the second drush is going to be that she gets Hanukkah. So we're happy. The halacha was that Amar Vriya doesn't get inherited, and the drasha is going to be, the source is going to be because she's compared to a near. So also another drasha, she's compared to a near, so also as far as getting Hanukkah when she goes free. But this is what we're learning over here, that she doesn't get inherited. 4th line, 4th wide line. The Raisa continued, the third category, Anirtza, Ba'anim Goy, this we took as a given the whole time. We just finished using it as a given that the Nirtza does not get inherited to the next generation. And also, if someone was sold to a Goy, a Jew who sold himself to a Goy, so when the Goy dies, he doesn't get inherited by the Goy's Yoresh. How do you know that? How do you know these two cases that they don't get inherited? Nirtza, the Chsiv, Ratzah, the Nova says no. Here's the last love over here. It says if he wants to stay longer, so the master should pierce his ear with a awl, and he should serve him. Him is emphasized. He should serve him, only the owner. But once he dies, he doesn't go on to the next generation. He doesn't work for anybody else, and that's simple. Then what is there any problem with that? The next case it said also if someone sold to a goy, it doesn't work. He doesn't go into the Yorshim of the goy, which is more is going to go on a tangent over here that there's such thing as a Yerusha for a goy. A goy when he dies, so the goy's son who's a goy does yarshin him. So you might think he yarshins David Ivri. So it says no. Nimkal the goy mina. And how do you know that with a goy when he had David Ivri and he died, he doesn't go on to the next generation? It says that when you want to redeem him, so you make a cheshbon, you calculate with the owner. So you only calculate with the owner. That's the extra pasuk. The only one you do business with is only going to be the owner because he's the only one who owns him. But there's no cheshbonos with the yorshim because there are no yorshim because he doesn't go on to be inherited by the next generation. And
Because he's a goy.
What?
Because he's a goy.
It's talking about a goy over there. What does it mean because he's a goy?
There's no Yorshim.
There is yorshim, but he's not going to inherit the evidently. His father, the goy, is the one.
I gotta convince him.
We're talking about that the Jews have authority. They're the ones who had a power, a governing power, and as long as he was living, the Jews authorized the sale. A Jew is allowed to sell. They're not smart to sell himself to a guy, but he did. So the sale is valid. But once he dies, so then the Jewish court says to the guy, you don't inherit your father's evidence goes free. And we finished. I think more or less we finished what we needed for today. But once we mentioned this halacha about Yerusha of a goy, we go into this halacha said Yerusha of a goy. We finished. What do we want? That an Eved Ivri does get inherited by the son till the end of his term, but the Amar Priya and the Nirtza and the Jew that was sold to a goy, all three of them, when the master dies, they don't get inherited to the next generation. And now we start to sugya about Yerusha's goy. There's a new sugya over here. You can say the whole thing is agav. It's coming in because we just mentioned about that Eved Ivri doesn't get inherited, but there are inheritors of a goy. Amar Rava, Tvar Torah, Midaraisa. Goy Yoresh Esavu. A goy inherits his father. The goy has a goyish father. He inherits him. So the Torah law authorizes, validates that the goy dies. His property goes to his son, the goy. Shenema v'chishavim konei v'lom yoshei konei mechal the isla yorshim mamash from this Russia. Here we're coming to say that the yorshim don't get the Eved Ivri. What do you have to talk about? If there's no yorshim, if the guy doesn't bequeath his property to his yoresh, you don't have to have a pasuk to say the Eved Ivri not. The fact that the pasuk says Eved Ivri not, it has to have a special pasuk to say only the owner, but not the yorshim. There must be that they are yorshim mamash. What we came from, we thought we're coming with a small point. Adarab, but this is the source that is Yerush in the first place. That's the first halacha. That a ger inherits a ger. A goy inherits a goy. Next case. How about we talk about gerim? What's the relationship? Here you could derive that he has yorshim. Because if it has to have a pasuk to say that the Eved Ivri does not go to the yorshim, it must be that they are yorshim. So you see, the Torah recognizes that the goy's yorshim inherit him, and here's just saying Eved Ivri doesn't get transferred, but there are yorshim. I think more later on it's going to say another drasha for this. That's another source. How about a ger? Ger es hagoy, ain't with the Torah. A ger with the Raisa does not inherit his father the goy. If someone became a ger and he has a goyish father, and the goyish father died, does the ger inherit him? One, two,
the ger and the goy is. Who's the ger and who's the goy?
The ger is the son. Let's say the ger is the one who's alive, and he wants to inherit the goy. You come about his father, the son. The ger wants to inherit the dead goy. Usually it is his father. So
we're saying a ger whose father is a goy.
And he also was a goy once upon a time, but he became a ger, and now his father died. He wants to know if he gets Yerusha.
Because if he were a goy, he would.
You're right. We just said a second ago that a goy doesn't inherit, but now that he became Jewish.
It's not different Torah, but okay.
But the Rai say not. But the Rai say he doesn't inherit. And when he get, and that's the point out, when he converts, we tell him, you're gonna lose the Yerusha. You know, your father's a millionaire, and he's gonna die. You're not gonna get Yerusha.
What are you gonna tell him? Okay.
We gotta tell him the facts. But if he wants to come again, you know, even under those circumstances. But the Gemara says Rabbanan, they did make Yerusha. So
why wouldn't
you
tell
know,
him
so you
that
can tell him that also. You can tell him that Rabbanan, they made a takana, you should be able to
Yeah,
Yash.
but pretty smart. I understood that the guy is not gonna give up $1 million.
Here it says, here it says, Mashma, we wouldn't mind if he wouldn't become a ger. But here the problem is he's going to become a ger and then he's going to go back. Element they so for him. But Rabbanan, they did make that the goy, that the ger Yash is the goy. The Tanan.
Excuse me, if there wasn't the Duraban, then what are we talking about? The property would become hefker? And
No, it goes to the goyish. It goes to the goyish sons. There were five
he has
sons.
other sons.
Yeah.
And what
Well,
he doesn't?
So it goes to the other Yoshim, whatever the father, you know, the goy have
They
relatives.
have
The
relatives.
same way it probably goes. I can't say for sure.
I see,
If
just
he has
not to
daughters,
this
then
one here.
he's not in the play. He's out. He's a
He's
ger.
out.
But Sigmar's going to say the whole time that's Katan Shanola Dami once he's a Megaya, so he's not related to his whole family. So
He's a Jew. Why would you want to give him any money? You know?
well, you wouldn't want to take the goyish money, whatever you want, however you want to look at it.
He's a
So-
Jew.
So that's the Rabbanan. They said that he could. Here we're going to prove that with the rice, and not we're going to prove everything. We're going to prove that with the rice, and not with Rabbanan. Yes, the Tanan, a Mishnah. Ger v'goy, sheYoshua Saviyim goy. There were two brothers. Everyone was going first. The father, the two kids, and one of them became a ger. And now the father died, and you have a ger and his goyish brother that are inheriting. And it says both of them inherit. That does say both of them inherit because we're going to come out that it is Rabbanan. So
What's the last part of the sentence? Avihim?
Aviham goy.
Avihim
The
goy.
ger and the goy were Yarshu who are inheriting their father, the goy.
Okay.
Ger, now the case is the father has a avodah zarah. This goy is your father. He has a avodah zarah, like every goy. And the question is, he doesn't want to take the avodah zarah. He can't benefit from that avodah zarah. So he wants to take something else instead. He wants to take something else. He has gold and silver, and he also has avodah zarah. So he'd like to take something in place of avodah zarah and get 50-50. But I'm going to take the kosher things. You take the avodah zarah. So it says, Ger yochalom goy tola to avodah zarah. This word should be yes. Bani mos tola to yain nesach bani peros. Before they split, the goy Ger could tell the goy, his brother, you take the avodah zarah for part of your 50%, and I'll take money for my 50%. Or if he had yain, he could say, you take the wine in your 50%, yain nesach, and I'll take peros that are not also for me. They could do that. It's not considered that he's benefiting from the avodah zarah. But what's when they split? They split the Yerusha, and he got some of the Zarah, he got some Yain Nesach. He can't go back and say, I want to exchange it with you. Then Asa. Why is it Asa? Because then he's like bartering, he's selling, so he's benefiting from the Avodah Zarah. Before he split, it's not called he's benefiting from the Avodah Zarah, he never got it. But once he got it, he can't use it anymore in exchange to make an exchange. That's the end of the Mishnah.
What is it, Usher?
Right. Now the Gemara is going to prove from this that it can't be the Raisa. If the Yerusha will be there, you see it's Rabbanan, you see that he's Yarshaning, or else he wouldn't be getting anything. So you see he is Yarshaning. But we're going to show that it can't be the Raisa. This is the Gemara talking. He's not going to the Raisa if the Yerusha of the Ger of his father the Goy is the Raisa he Yarshins, Kilo Bo Lushu Sanami, Kishakal Chilufi Avodah Zarah the Kashakal. Even if they didn't divide it. But it's his. All the Yarshim have a hold on the Yerusha, even if they didn't actually physically divide it. So if he says you take that Avodah Zarah, he's also benefiting from that Avodah Zarah because he has the rights to it. If it will be the Raisa, so he already has a chelik in the Avodah Zarah. And if he says you take it instead, you take the Avodah Zarah, I'll take the money. He's switching it, and it would be also also. The fact that the Brisa says Mishnah Brisa says that because it's benefiting from Avodah Zarah. The same way once he divided, he can't switch it anymore because it's yours, and you're switching, you're getting money for your Avodah, you're selling Avodah Zarah. So if Yerusha will be the Raisa, then even if before they made the split, also it would have been us because it's his Avodah Zarah, and he's exchanging it for something else. There's a proof that it's only Drabanan. And then it's not a problem. Once it's Rabbanan, so I didn't give it to him until he takes it. But he takes it, he doesn't, that's the Rabbanan gave it to him after when he takes it. When he actually takes it, that's when the Rabbanan are giving it to him. He doesn't have a schus in
It
it.
it didn't become Yerusha.
It didn't become his until he takes it. So they said, so you can make the deal before you take it. So why did the Rabbanan make that? He should get a Yerusha? Elam Rabbanan. It must be that it's only Rabbanan. Why? They made a Gzera because he might go back to his bad way. I'm not sure what the word the surah means, but it means that he'll go back to be in the way as if he's a guy. He can't go back. Once a person is a Jew, There's no return. He can't become a goy, but he's going to go back to act like a goy. Why?
You mean
Because
he had, no, he doesn't have.
sorry? Why did the
Your wife
Rabbanan
say he doesn't get anything?
and the Rabbanan invented that he gets Yerusha
Because if he doesn't get anything, why would he go back?
Because he
he'll
wants to
feel
go back.
bad that he didn't get anything.
and he wants to get it, so he's going to go back and say, "I'm a
He's
goy."
gonna tell his brother, I'm a guy.
Now, Tyson points out that the truth is it doesn't really, because once you're a Jew, you can't back out. So it really doesn't do anything to him. But he thinks so. He thinks that it does, and maybe his mother, the guy,
He'll
thinks that
tell his
also.
brother, he'll tell his brother, I'm a guy now.
And they're okay with that, even though the Jewish law will still say you don't get Yerusha, but they'll go their way. They'll divide it their
As a
way.
Jew, they would know that he's not entitled to Yerusha. We're assuming.
Right.
And it must be that he's going to say, I'm a goy.
And he
Yeah.
thinks that he's going to gain. So
Yes,
now
he's gonna get it,
Rabbanan,
he's
so,
gonna
so the
go off
Rabbanan
his-
said that he does get Yerusha, and everyone's and he'll stay Jewish.
Because he'll get something.
He'll get the regular Yerusha. He
He'll
gets
get
it.
something. He'll
What
get
is something when he gets Yerusha?
nothing that's us.
Okay, he'll make a deal to get that he should benefit from that. Period. That's the Brisa to support this idea that the Yerusha of is not the Brisa, must be Rabbanan, because the Brisa says there's a difference between Yerusha and a partnership. If there's Yerusha, then we said there's a halacha that he could split. He could make the exchange, he could make the deal before he actually physically split the Yerusha. But if there's a partnership that he had with his brother, the Goy, he can't make any deals. Because what's the difference? Because he Israeli owns it already. So the Gemara sees in this brisa that Yerusha is not a regular partnership. He's not really a part owner. So it must be like we said that inherits with the Raisa. From a Goy, the Raisa does not inherit, but Rabbanan he does, and know that he shouldn't go back to his Goyish ways. Next again, how about Goy before lunch to the bottom? Goy Yasagir, V'ger Yasagir. Here, the ger died, and he has a Goyish, let's say, son. The son is the Goy. The father converted, and the son did not. And the Goy wants to know if he inherits his father the ger, or two ger, the father and the son, both of them, and converted. Do they inherit each other? So we can make the cheshbon that we said with the Raisa, the ger is disconnected and there's no relationship, so there's no Yerusha. We just made it takana if the son is the ger, if the ger is the one who's alive inheriting, so we made Rabbanan, he can get it, he shouldn't go back to his old ways. But here, that the father, the one who died, is the ger, so there's no reason to make any takana. The goy is a goy, and the ger, it's not going to help him, or a ger, that the one who is a ger to inherit a ger. Yerushas hager is a ger. Does a ger inherit a ger? Does a goy inherit a ger?
Ger married a goy?
I'm sorry? Why
Why does the ger have a ger son?
both of them were Magayim? Had a family, a happy Goyish
Oh, they were
family, and
born
they became a happy
already. He was
Gerish
already
Ger
born.
family. They were born and they decided, it happens a lot of times that a family decides to become Ger, and they'll become Ger, but they're not related to each other anymore. So if the father dies, the son doesn't inherit because they're not
Not
related.
to not to
And the Rabbanan didn't make any, there's no reason to make a takan over here, because we're not going to give him the Yerusha. Over here, what does it say? Ain't alone with the Torah alone with the base offering. They don't inherit it all. Even Rabbanan is no Yerusha. The Tanan. Or they say the Tanya, I'm not sure if it's a Mishnah. Okay, I just have to see if it's a Mishnah or not. The Tanan usually means a Mishnah. Lava Moas Ben Ager, this guy, I think it's a Mishnah. Lava Moas Ben Ager, this guy with Gonov Imo. Somebody borrowed money from a father who's a ger, who also has children that are ger. Now, in this case, the father is a ger, the son's a ger, and he borrowed money from the father. And then the father died. So should he give the money to the son? Or he can keep it. The son is a ger,
His son is Jewish, but he's
but they're not
not.
related. So he doesn't have to give it back to him. Lo yachzeh lebanav. He doesn't give it back to the sons because they're not related. He can keep it himself. Is it a nice thing to give back?
Yeah.
If he did give it back, so the Chachamim are not happy about it. So not happy can mean that they're unhappy or they're not happy. It means that he didn't do anything good. He didn't do a dafka good thing. Rashi seems to say that he didn't do dafka good thing. They're not dafka happy about it. They don't give him a shikoyah. They don't say meh.
Why?
We don't know yet.
Not that they're not happy.
They're not unhappy, but they're not happy.
They're
They're
not unhappy, but they're
not,
not happy.
that's
It's not a
fine.
great-
You say, okay, you gave it, but it doesn't
You
say,
wasted your money.
they don't say that, they're not unhappy about it. That, you could learn the Gemara that they're unhappy. Sometimes the Gemara means, Rashi said at the bottom seems to say, bottom line, they don't give me ashkoyach. You don't have to. Why are you giving away money? You don't have to. But it doesn't say that they're upset with him. That's the Rashi learns at least. And the Mars the Kasha about Tanya Avrohom another Bryce says that the Chama are happy. You don't have to, but it's a good thing if you did it. So it's a contradiction. Lo Kasha. Kasha was of Ladasa Shlo B'Kedusha. One case is talking about that he was conceived and born to a Goyish mother. Means even when he was born a Goy. B'Kedusha means Jewish. Shlo B'Kedusha means Goyish. He was conceived.
Kedusha means what?
Not in Judaism, not in
Jewish.
Jewishness. He is Jewish because he became a ger. After he was born, he became a ger. But-
Kedusha.
His conception and his birth were not in holiness. Means he was conceived when his mother was a goya, and he was born when his mother was a goya, and then he became a ger.
Now it's a full-fledged gift.
Now he's a full-fledged ger. The other case, top of the page, Khan. Another case, we'll see which one is which. He was conceived when his mother was a goya. But by the time he was born, his mother was already a Magaya. What's the din if a woman is Magaya? A pregnant Goya is Magaya. What is the son? So I think it says here that he's not Jewish. He's a ger. His label is a ger. The person talk about the Tosfos that when the mother goes to the mikvah, he's also going to the mikvah. And to talk about is a chatzitza. Why is the mother not a chatzitza?
Because yes, we call mitzvahs when it's permitted, no?
I don't think. I think he's a ger.
He's a
He's a
ger.
ger. He's not called. He was born
So
to a
he's a
Jewish mother.
ger, but he was born in Kedusha.
He was
And that's where
born.
the
Right.
rabbis would be no.
So that's the question. Which one is which? Now the question is what? That's the end of the Gemara. That's the end of the Gemara. Now, in one case, you consider him maybe more Jewish. The first case, in both cases, he's a ger.
He's a ger.
One is he became a ger on his own. He was born a go. He became a ger. The other case, he was born a ger.
Yeah.
So which one would you say that it's nice thing to give? You don't have to give back the money anyway. With the rice, with the rice and the one, you don't have to give back the money. There's no Yerusha between the father. The father's a goy. The father was a goy and he became a ger. But there's no relationship between the son and the father. But in one case, it's a nice thing. They give me a shekorach if you give back the money to the children. So which case is which? Which case is more reason to give it back? To give back the money. Any opinions?
Well, I thought he was born. Yeah.
He's closer to being Jewish. It looks closer. It could
He's
be.
closer to being Jewish, but he still has nothing to do with the father.
He's in both cases he's really a ger. The father's a ger and he's a ger. Really, there's no connection. But in one case, it's a nice thing to give back the money to consider them related, so to speak. So there seems to be a machlokas over Rashi and Tosfos. And Rashi maybe Tosfos understands Rashi that in the case where he was born a ger, so there's more reason to give it back. If he was born to a Jewish mother, means his mother was Megayer before he was born. So then he's more Jewish. So give it. So then you could. Then it's nice to give
That's
back the
when there's
money.
ruach.
Then they're pleased with him that
Because
he's
he looks.
because he's a little bit more Jewish. Not that he's actually more Jewish. He's also a ger, but he was born a ger. So
Wait, which one?
the case where he was born a ger.
Born to a Jewish mother.
No, born to a Jewish mother.
His mother was the guy when she was pregnant.
Today is more
Yeah,
connected.
that's Rashi.
He was born
That's
Jewish.
Rashi.
Okay.
And Tosfos says the opposite. Tosfos says near the opposite. The case where he was born Jewish, then don't give it to him. And it seems that the Chachamim not only are not happy, they're unhappy. Tosfos says because people are going to think that he's Jewish. You're strengthening as if he's Jewish, and he's not. You have to know that he's not Jewish. You have to know that he's a ger. Whatever Allah it has to do with, like here it says about Yibum and might make mistakes. They're going to think that he's Jewish because he was born as Jewish. And many people, myself also, if he's born to a Jewish mother, he's Jewish. That's not true. He's a ger. And Tosfos says that we don't want to encourage or strengthen the idea that he's Jewish just because he was born to a Jewish mother. He's a ger. So in the case where there's no question, everybody knows that he's a goy. He was born a goy. He was conceived a goy, born a goy, and he became a ger on his own. Then there's no chash. Everybody knows that they're not related. But in a case where people might make a mistake, so stay away and don't encourage, don't strengthen the possibility that he's considered a Jew. He's considered a ger.
Is that right? It's talking about, I'm just making, clarifying. That it's talking about not giving it towards stock, or you're not you're talking, you want to give it to him towards, and that's
You're giving, yeah. If you give, say, give somebody else also, nothing to do with the money that
No,
you
but
got.
if he's a ger, they're both gers, right?
They're both gers, they know, give it back.
So then we have more reason to love them.
Yes, but
Both
nothing,
of them
nothing to
have
do with
love.
giving money. You don't give money. You don't just throw away money.
No, I mean, but any halachas that have to do with a ger.
He's a
would
ger,
apply
yeah,
to
he's a
them,
ger, he's a
even
ger,
though they're
he's a
Jewish.
ger, right.
No, even though his mother was Jewish.
Right, he's a ger. So we had just at the beginning of the sugya. How do you know that a goy yash is a goy? We finished all these categories about a goy to a goy, a ger from a goy from a ger from a ger. And now back to the original thing. How do you know that a goy yash is a goy? So we had a drasha from our halacha. The fact that the pasuk has to say that a goy doesn't inherit the evidivri of his goy. So you see that there's Yerusha, or else it wouldn't be necessary to say it doesn't yarshin. There's no yarshin. That was the first drasha. That was Rava. And second line, another source for this halacha. Goy Yoresh Esav Torah T'chsiv Ki Yerusha Le'esav Nasati Esav Seir. I'll bring you a pasuk that says there's Yerusha because it says when Hashem said to Am Yisrael, don't battle against Har Esav, Har Seir, don't conquer Har Seir. It says because I gave it to Esav as Yerusha Har Seir. Ki Yerusha Esav Nasati Esav Seir. So the
That
fact
shows
that they do yarshin, that a goy does yarshin the goy, means
why
this
do
is
we get that? This is God giving a Yerusha to
yeah, but it
Esau.
means that this is not the first generation. This is very later generations of the Esav family. Esav lives in Har Seir. Why?
He
Because
set it up that those people would have it as a Yerusha, not that God's. giving
Hashem is
Yerusha.
telling the Jews now, don't fight with them because I gave it to Esav. He didn't give it to this
As a Yerusha,
generation.
it
He
doesn't
gave it.
mean he did it.
Hashem did. Hashem gave
He didn't Yorish. The people Yorished.
the generation now, Yarshin from their great grandfather Esav. So, and Hashem said, it's theirs because I gave it to the grandfather. So you see that the Goy Yarshins with the Raisa. But the Gemara rejects this possibility, or the one asks the Kasha. But it rejects. But the only Yisrael Mummer Shani. He's not a Goy. Esav's not a Goy. Esav's called the Yisrael Mummer. Isn't that interesting? And Esav is called, he's
I
a
don't
not.
get that. Yaakov, all the others, they weren't Yisrael.
Why?
You only count Jews after the Mount Sinai.
But I just heard different. I heard that they became Jews right after Avrohom got the bris. What he wants to just said.
Oh, yeah? Oh, maybe I listen wrong.
What do we say? Mumma?
Yisrael Mummer. Dilma Yisrael Mummer Shani. He's not a Goy. Esav's not a Goy. Esav is Yisrael Mummer. He's a non-observant Jew. But maybe he's Jewish. And all you see is that Yisrael Mummer has Yerusha, but you don't see that a Goy has a Yerusha. That's fascinating. What are you talking about? All the Bnei Esav, all generations is called Yisrael Mummer. They call that they're Jewish.
Oh, all the Arabs you call Yisrael moment?
I didn't say Arabs. We said Esav.
No, it's all Christians.
Of course, once they marry Goyim and everything, so
he
then
did
they're intermarried, then they got their children. But the Gemara looks at Esav as a son of Yitzchak and Rivka, and they're not observant, but
They
they're
wouldn't be
not called a
Christians,
Goy.
I take it back because Yoshua didn't have children. He didn't have a nation.
I don't know if it has to do with Dafkim, but the question is, who's the Bnei Esav? Who's Esav? If you're assuming that Esav is Christian, so then
Well, Esau was Christians.
that's what you're assuming in your.
I was
Yeah.
thinking maybe Yoshua because that's ridiculous. He didn't have-
She didn't have any children? She didn't have children.
Officially not.
No, his mother.
Oh, he didn't have any children. Well, maybe he had a lot of them on Citrin. I don't know.
So the Gemara says not the proof.
I don't know.
The Gemara says that it's not a proof that the Goy has Yerusha because Esav is not a Goy. Esav is called the Yisrael Woman. Fascinating. Ela B'Yocha, a different pasuk will prove that Rabbi Yochanan will prove that a Goy Yarshin is a Goy, not from Esav. He lived in Eilot, Nasatias or Yerusha. Also the same parsha over there. It says don't bother Ammon and Moab because they gave it to the Bnei Lot. And this is now or is the name of the city that I gave it to them as a Yerusha. So and what does it mean? Since I gave it to the Bnei Lot, so now don't take it from the children and later on So what does that mean? That the goyim are goyim. Ammon and Moab is goyim. The Bnei Lot that is not considered Zerah Avrohom Yitzchak. So therefore, that's a good proof. So we have two sources.
Because
Because Lot was given Ammon and Moab. Ammon and Moab as children, Mamzerim from his daughters, and
or I'm sorry, or
Yerusha, and that's why
what
you
is
should.
or? It's
I was just
like
sitting,
city.
and that's why Amish should not take it from the Bnei Lot, and this is not the same generation Hashem gave it to, so it means that they're inheriting their father. So you see, a guy inherits a guy.
Lotus for sure. Good.
Yes. So now we have two psukim. We had a pasuk before that said you learn it out because the pasuk says Eved Ivri doesn't get inherited by the guy. If the guy to the guy, so you see a guy is Yerusha. Why doesn't he like the pasuk before? We learned that over there that the guy Yash is the guy. The answer is Miksev v'chishav im koneu v'loyim yorshay koneu. Doesn't say that. It says v'chishav. What's the answer?
What does it say? The chashav.
I mean, the more Rashi koneu with his owner and not with anybody else. So the Gemara says they don't see that. The Gemara is not happy with the drasha. You don't see that. How come you don't see it? I'm not sure. I didn't learn this. I just got up here. The Chishav im Koneu, does it say that? What does that mean? Does it say that? He should calculate with his owner. Is that not nice drasha? And not with anybody else. Only with his owner and not with anybody else. The Gemara says it doesn't say that. I'm not sure what they usually have to ask. What do you do with it? What do you do with that drasha? In his owner, and not somebody else besides his owner. The Davish is not on his owner. We're not saying his owner and not somebody else's owner. We're talking about his owner and not somebody else besides his owner. And the Gemara says it doesn't say beferish, this drasha. This derivation doesn't say beferish. But isn't that a drasha?
What is the pasuk?
The Chishavim Konei. We have the pasuk over here on the screen. Here it is. וחישבם קונה ומשנה סימוך ולא עד שנה יובל והיה כסף מקרו במספר שונים כי מי שכיר יהיה עמו. It's talking about a Jew who sold himself to a guy and you want to redeem him, so you calculate with his owner from the time that he was sold until the Yovel, and that's how much you have to pay to redeem him, because he worked a certain amount, how much is left until Yovel, he would have gotten free, so that's how much you pay him. And it says you make a cheshbon with his owner. And the Gemara thought you could kiddushin, and now with somebody else, only with his owner. And the Gemara says it doesn't say so beferish. I'm not sure. It is a word that you can make in it derive something. But the Gemara says that he's not impressed with the drasha, with the source of the drasha. And the Gemara ends off. And why doesn't he hold the drasha of Levnei Lot? Isn't that a good drasha to say that it go Yarshins? Mishum Kavodo, the Avrohom Shani. It could be that it wasn't really Yerusha. That's Hashem wanted to honor Avrohom, that Lot was his nephew, and since Hashem gave it to him, so he wants it to stay by there, not because of the Dini Yerusha. So it's not a proof that it go Yarshins. But everybody agrees that Allah. The question only is, where's the source? No Rashi on that? No Rashi.
But is it a machlok based on is a foreign Jew or is it a Goy? We know that.
The Gemara calls him Yisrael Mummer. The Gemara doesn't say that they're arguing if he's Yisrael Mummer or not. The Gemara seems to say that Yisrael is different, and maybe even though a guy does not Yarshin, maybe Yisrael Mummer does yes Yarshin. You don't make him into a guy completely. That you still say that it's Yerusha. But the Gemara is fascinating that it calls him Yisrael Mummer. What is this Aleph over here? This Aleph is the Rambam. Is that what the Aleph going on?
On which one?
The Dilma Yisrael Mummer Shani.
I don't have any.
The Rambam, the superscript. If you look at the Rambam right here, what do you have? You don't have this right here.
No.
You have in Mishpat and Mishpat, don't you?
You have what?
The Rambam superscript always.
I thought I did. Yeah.
I'll just look at it. It's right here, so I'll just see what it says. This is Hilchos Nachlos above Yud Beis. Probably see what the Yisrael Mummer is. Of your base on this one. Oh, that's good. Of Yisrael Shemer Yorish is Krova, but Yisraelim Kishahaya. So he does say that. He does that. The Rambam sees in this Gemara. He doesn't talk about Esau, but he talks about if Yisrael is not observant, he does inherit. He says the president sees that it's necessary to make a penalty and to take away his Yerusha that he should in order
You're
to.
using inherit to mean passed down to his children. Passed down, inherit meaning he's the one.
No, he's
He
talking about
takes
he's inheriting from his father. There's a good Jew that died, and he has a son who's Yisrael Mummer. That's an non-observant Jew, so he doesn't inherit. Will inherit. And he says that the person can make a knas and say that that's not good. We want to show that he shouldn't gain from his non-observance. Not shouldn't gain. He should lose. So they can penalize him that he shouldn't inherit. Im yesh lo banim Yisrael, ki nosen Yerusha savia namum v'lahen. And he says the other way. If in your case, does he bequeath? So he says also Yisrael mummer bequeaths to his children the Israelim.
That was our question, right? Our question was, if
Esau.
you gave it to Esau, that's going down.
Yeah. Over there, everyone, they're all the same. Whatever they are, all women. No one's keeping the mitzvahs over there. Not the father and the son. I don't know. They have the case over there. The Rambam had it in Ma'arav. I don't know what that is in the west. The Rambam said that's the custom.
And Yashka was for sure
He surely was not observant. Avodah Zarah, Mesis and Mediyah, and Kishuf. The Gemara says he was chayiv skila for a couple of times. Okay, Yeshikach, everybody. Thank you. So we will speak this in a minute.
So where are we up
or
to?
so.
The 2 dots?
We got it to the 2 dots. So we're on Yudches Amud Aleph. Where's the rest of the world today? Ready?
Let's see.